Guys, welcome to the show.
This is just the intro, so you guys can talk.
Okay, that's great. We're mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I hit
there.
these guys literally as I walked in. Hey, I want to do something different today, and so we're going to start off the show with a video while the mics are hot and talk a little bit about why this fall season is the time to sell your house, and then we're going to get into the topic of the day.
Which is?
Well, let's see what the feed says.
I'm going to say which is what.
We'll see if my prediction was right.
I think your predictions are going to be right. All right, guys, if you have any comments you want to put on, we will adapt to you per usual. I think we want to talk about the importance of hiring a trusted advisor and why you should do a real estate agent for new construction.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Judah, you can start the show when you're ready. Get that intro going, and let's have some good times with Smith over here. Are we going to wear the costumes next week? Or is it going to be a Halloween day?
No, well, it's the Friday before Halloween, right?
That's that when we're going to do it? Or are we going to do it all week long? He wants to wear it one day. That's fair. He just brought me a Robin, and Robin's going to be very much in tights.
Can you show that?
Let's hope it's not chilly. We'll bring it after the show.
Okay,
Yeah, we can
cool.
do that. J-Dubs, you want to get the intro going? Let's do it. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. It's presented by the Yes Team, Realtors, trusted advisors in the game, Keith and Yonna Smith. Honesty, integrity, character, hardworking, two people proud to call friends on this very network. Judah Wickhauer's our director. Studio camera to welcome the distinguished gentleman to the program. He came in with a piping cup of hot MarieBette coffee, which he has right there. He drew a fabulous heart on the MarieBette coffee.
It's rubbing off a little bit, but I tried.
And also he says, show us again on the heart. Put it up to the camera.
Which one? Up.
And then he also brought me a Robin costume for our Batman and Robin shtick. We are going...
Shtick? Look at you.
You taught me that.
Yiddish.
Yiddish.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
A little shtick.
That's the black and white cookie, Jerry.
Oh.
That was a good episode. My friend loves Seinfeld just like I do.
You know, it was, where was I? I was doing something, and I leaned over to the guy that I was with. There was a meeting or something, and I'm going, this is a freaking Seinfeld episode.
Right? I feel like that about life a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of the neighborhood I grew up in, so it was the same people were like, that was it. That was what you did. You know, there was the coffee shop on the corner, and you know, it was it. That was it. And there was, you know, there was Norms, and there was, you know, Jerry, and all these kind of folks wandering around the neighborhood. So you're going to show your outfit?
Sarah Buczynski, welcome to the program.
Hey, Sarah.
I will share it. It's over there. Why don't we do our thing? Yeah.
Do our shtick?
Do our shtick. Do our shtick. Carol Thorpe, hello. Good morning. Welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, one of these days we'll actually kind of really do a pre-production show instead of just...
I feel like we've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we're completing each other's sentences. I mean, I do really appreciate the email in the morning.
There you go.
Well, I read it while on the think tank.
Think tank.
Yeah. And I'm like, what does Keith have for us this morning? And that's when I'm reading, getting ready for the show.
You mean the throne?
Is that too much information for you?
That was way too much. That was almost as bad as when you called me in yesterday.
Oh, man. We're talking River Hawkins.
Oh, dude.
From the Bevadero. The guy is a colorful guy. He's the dude you want to be sitting next to at the bar. Maybe not the dude you always trust with the hot mic 24/7, 365, but he did a stellar interview.
He did a stellar interview, and so for those who don't know, they're opening up the Milkman over at Dairy Market. And
sponsors of the show.
Absolutely. And I was fortunate on Friday to get a kind of a pre-opening. They're going to be quite some time before they open. But tour, I think December is when they're shooting for.
What'd you see on that tour?
The whole outfit is just really professionally done. It's just, so I geeked out being, the builder developer guy, and I was looking at all the neat stuff that they were doing. But they did some really substantial work in there. When the public can get in there, their mouth is just going to go like that, because that's what I was doing.
What did they do? How did Chris Henry, guys, the developer, Stony Point, Dairy Market, Dairy
Bumped
Central,
into him on the way over here.
Yeah. I mean, talk to us about what you saw design-wise, feng shui, look and feel. What struck you?
You cursing at me?
I'm not
feng
cursing
shui?
at you. Feng shui, you know what feng shui means.
Only kidding. Yeah, I don't want to give it away too much, right? Because oh, by the way, they want us to do a live show there, remote show. So I'll tell you in front of everybody.
Okay, I wonder how that's going to go. Judah just gave me the stink eye over there.
Just so that you know, that's in the works. So
it's a stink eye.
We're gonna do. It's gonna be really cool. But when you walk in, and I don't want to give it away because you have to go there and see it. But when you walk in, and Jody and the team, and Chris and his team, and Josh and their team, it's pretty awesome. It takes your breath away. Totally takes your breath away.
Barbara Lundgren, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey,
She's
Barbara.
giving us props right now. I'm excited. I'm excited that the milkman yesterday, River, said he was going to open a food concept in the spring. That bar seems like our kind of spot, Keith.
Well, and when I was chatting with Jody about it, just you could not have had a better setup for COVID-19. They got all kinds of outdoor seating space. The inside is wide open, so it's going to do well.
I think it's going to do
It'll
extremely well.
Talk about doing well. Our friends at El Marachi,
Yeah.
man.
Talk to me about that.
kicking.
They had to take a day off. They were doing so well.
They took a day off.
Did you see that?
I know that. I talked to them yesterday. They took a day off just so that
To replenish.
well, they didn't actually take a day off. They prepped, and so they're doing great. Thank God.
El Marachi, guys, Zion's Crossroads, fantastic Mexican restaurant.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I was walking down the street, bumped into Chris Henry and a couple other people, and I said, "Hey, have you guys been out there?" And they go, "Wow, they have. It was great." So people are going from Charlottesville out there, so that's pretty awesome.
That place is going to kill it. If you have not been there, it's absolutely fantastic. My friend, I think this has been a topic a week or 10 days in the making.
Probably 2 weeks.
Yeah?
So why should you use a real estate agent or a realtor? Thank you, Barbara, for correcting me.
Yes.
A realtor in a real estate transaction. So I know that since you gave away that you've read in on your throne. So the first question would be is who works for who, right? So let's say you're going to do a real estate transaction, a new construction transaction, right? And you walk into a model home and you see a salesperson there. Who do you think that person actually works for?
It works for the builder.
That's exactly right.
It does not work for the person walking into the model home.
Now, that doesn't mean that every one of the model home sales reps and all the builders around now have working relationships with, and they're freaking awesome and they're great. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, they are working for the builder, right? So, at the end of the day, they are, their representation, their fiduciary responsibility is to the builder.
Right.
So, when you use a real estate agent for that real estate agent works for you, right? It protects you. Our fiduciary responsibility is to protect Mr. and Mrs. Miller in that, and be the guide through, or the trusted advisor that we talk about this all the time. But, it's, again, it doesn't, I don't want to disparage. They're high class, they're outstanding individuals, great sales folks, have a great working relationship with every single one of the sales folks at all the builders here. But at the end of the day, they're working for the builder. Whereas you hire us or use us, we're working for you. We keep you from the landmines. So there's a couple items. So the second one is really important, again, why you need a real estate agent, in my opinion, to do that, is what you see is not necessarily what you get, right? So in other words, when you walk through a model home, typically that's fully loaded in. when you start off with a base price, it doesn't necessarily include everything that you just walked through. So the sales folks are great at helping you navigate that, but sometimes you need a translator, right? You need somebody who can translate the conversation through that process. Well, is this an upgraded floor that we're looking at, right? Is this price including that upgraded tile? So that's kind of important because we talk about this on the show all the time. Our role as real estate agents is to be more the guide, right? To help guide Mr. and Mrs. Miller through this particular process. So something that is, and we can jump in and out however you want to do. I'm just going to go through the list pretty quickly, and then we'll bounce around a little bit. What's really a real important, and it's a conversation we have with buyers all the time. If I had $1,000 every time somebody told me this was the last house they'll ever build or buy in a new construction environment for 30 years, I would own the island we go to every year. So it's important that even though you think this may be your last home, this last move, it's not more than likely it's not. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to overbuild for the market, right? So at the end of the day, the builder, they're just going to, if you want to have, diamond encrusted faucets, right? I'm just picking some weird thing, right? But
I get what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But what we're going to do is, because being your trusted advisor, we're going to say, look, I get it, and we understand that. But if you build this house and it's here, and the market is here, you need to understand that you're here. And if that's fine, if that's what you're good with, then that's fine. But if you pick up the phone 5 years from now, and this happens, I mean, we get phone calls all the time. The average person stays in the house somewhere between 6 and 8 years now. Some people say a little closer to 9, but somewhere between 6 and 8 years. The average family, except for the Smith family.
You want to stay.
Is Mrs. Smith watching?
No, Mrs. Smith is. She wants to go.
I love you, honey.
I know. I love you too, Mrs. Miller.
Check.
Yeah. I love you too, Mrs. Miller.
I had a great time with you guys.
Yeah, it was so good, man.
We got to do it again. But what I was trying to get at is what we will do. We will do a market analysis typically for a client. Okay, so hey, I'm at X number of dollars. Right, we've got about a half a dozen new construction projects going on at any given moment right now, at this particular moment, excuse me. And we always do a market analysis, and a realtor, a real estate agent will do that for you. And we'll say, hey, great, but you understand you're on the top end of the market. So as a rule of thumb, you don't want to be the most expensive house in a new subdivision. You also don't want to be the lowest. You kind of want to hit somewhere in the middle on that end of it. So cause when that 5 or 7 or 6 or 10 years, or in the Smith's case, 20 years comes around, you're not overpriced for the market. Now,
sure.
If over time the market might catch up to you on that. And the other thing to think about also when you do that, and a trusted advisor will help you with that, is where are you at in this development, right? Are you the last couple of houses that get built? Or are you the first house to get built?
Walk me through that.
Well,
let's talk about the last couple versus the few.
Yeah, so it's a value proposition, right? So if you're in the beginning of it, right?
You usually get, a little better prices, the chance for some built-in equity, but the trade-off is you're going to deal with some construction, you're going to deal with some noise, some traffic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We're doing this too long. You got it.
Phase one, help me understand. Phase one in a new development, oftentimes the hand-picked cherry lots, right?
That's not true.
Is that not true?
It depends.
Okay, I thought they usually did that.
No. It depends on the developer.
Okay.
I'll leave names out of it. Certain developers go the opposite direction.
Interesting.
They'll put their worst lots
in phase one?
In phase one, right. Because what does that do?
Gets them out of the way.
And increases the value.
Okay, I'd love to spend some time because I'm learning from you. I thought phase one.
I'm not going to give you all my developing.
Well, I mean, you're giving me some knowledge right now. This. You got my ears perked. Could you tell? Phase one.
When it's about money, it's.
Phase one, if it was about ideas, it's like that. Phase one, I thought it was about using the best lots to drive momentum in the development. You taught me activity breeds sales.
Activity breeds activity.
Yeah, activity breeds activity. So phase one, activity, use the best lots.
Yeah, this is a bit of a wormhole that we're going to go into because it really depends on the parcel, right? So I'm working with a consultant as a consultant. I'm getting a text from Barbara Lundgren. Hi, Barbara. Seen it.
Your wife is saying no comment on moving, Keith.
Yeah.
But I love you too.
I love you too. I'm getting a little pressure on that subject. So for instance, we're doing consulting out for a client. Colonial Circle. Okay. That's the intersection of 53 and 618. There's a roundabout getting built there. The issue is. Again, I really don't want to get in the weeds, but from a development perspective, okay, where is my main roads coming in? Where's my infrastructure coming in, right? So if my infrastructure is coming in at one end, that maybe is my worst lots, and I can build out the subdivision that way, then I could try that way. Or if the infrastructure is coming in at one point, it's really my best lots, I have to make a business decision. Do I have to run all that infrastructure all the way to my bad lot, quote unquote, less desirable lots, right? Then I'm now just laid all this infrastructure. But it's site specific. Most folks in today's environments are just developing the whole project all at once.
Interesting.
But it depends on how cash flow goes and all kinds of analysis. But some developers will tell you there's one local one that's been around for a very long time that will the way he operated, he always got rid of the less desirable lots first.
How'd you do it at the lake?
Excuse me?
How'd you do it at the lake?
Well, the lake, started in 1968.
Because he developed a lot, for those that are watching, he developed a lot of Lake Monticello. You built a lot of homes.
Yeah.
That's different than developing.
Yeah. So I did develop 150 acres within Lake Monticello to create a 1 acre lots, about 150 1 acre lots.
Well, you know what? This is an interesting question. Just came into the feed here. This is from Laura Tate. Grant Tate just said, just got a note that you guys are alive. Glad to hear you're doing well, Keith Smith. That's from Grant Tate.
Well, let's stop for a second. Love that man.
Yeah, he's watching.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't like it. I call him Doc because he is a doctor. He has a PhD, and I'll screw it up so I won't say it. But he call him Doc. God, I miss him.
Colin Wyatt, welcome. Watching in Richmond, Virginia right now.
I'm trying to think last time I seen Doc.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this. Yeah. We're live across social and Instagram here. This one's coming in via Insta. What's the difference between building and developing, Keith Smith?
Oh, well, so developing is creating the lot inventory, right? Building is once you have the lot inventory, you go vertical on it. So it's the difference on it. Some companies do both. That's what I did.
Yeah. What's an example of a company that's just developing?
Excuse me?
An example of a company that's just developing lots. And then they sell them to builders?
Correct. Well, Chris Henry would be one, right?
Okay.
So, they focus on commercial now, but at one point in time they would just develop lots on it. But there's a couple of developers out here. Frank Stoner is one that comes to mind.
Why would somebody go down the road of just being the developer of the land and not actually build stuff on the land?
Well, that's a show in itself.
I would love to learn.
Yeah. So it's
less risk?
Oh, no, quite the opposite.
Much more with the land development.
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah, how do you think I lost $17 million?
Well, explain that to me.
Yeah, right. Well, so you develop. So the risk is high, but the rewards are potentially high also. So what happened to us is time is a problem. Red tape, green tape. Remember that conversation? Sure. So we started a particular project in 2003. By the time we got it approved, infrastructure in, ready to sell the first lot to build on, was 2007, 2008.
Wow.
And guess what happened?
Market won the pooper.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got all this 10, 15, 20 million dollars worth of infrastructure in the ground. Oops.
Yeah.
So the time is the problem. So if that project would have been, or these projects would have been done and ready, let's say in 12 and 24 months, right? Just to put it in an example, the acres which I did at Lake Monticello, from the time that I put a contract in, it rezoned, it got the site plan, and put a bulldozer on the job site. It took me 9 months.
9 months.
Now it's, let me see, this Colonial Circle project that we're working on, we're in our 5th year. And we haven't even started the development work
That is nuts.
on that. Yeah.
That is nuts. Johnny's watching from
Hey,
El
Johnny.
Marachi. Johnny, we started the show by singing the praises of your restaurant. We were so impressed by how your family is handling the demand and the popularity of everything that's going. That is crazy, it taking that long.
Well, let's just talk about Johnny and
Well,
Steve.
yeah, that's a great example.
Took 3 years, right? Just things just take way longer than they should at the moment. But you know, it's how you hit the cycle, right? You know, and in that case, I hit it at a different cycle. Now, this particular project that I'm helping this other client on it's hitting at the top.
Is there a municipality that's fast tracking that?
Flavanna County is really good at it.
Really?
Yeah, Flavanna County is. Flavanna County has a unique path that they will give you hey, is this going to work or not going to work in 6 months, 9 months, somewhere along those lines. But
The slowest is city, Charlottesville?
yeah, they all kind of the thing is so for instance, we're in the site plan portion of this particular project called Colonial Circle, right? We'll probably get the site plan all approved another 6 months, something like this, 3 to 6 months. But then we have to wait on DEQ, right? So DEQ's out in Richmond, Department of Environmental Quality, which is a great thing. It's needed. Well, the problem with that, they're understaffed, right? Nobody can tell you when it's going to be done. So we've got to go through that step, and that could take another 6 months or more just to get through that before you can put a bulldozer on the job site. So it's funny, I had a phone call yesterday, or actually Facebook messages from Elizabeth Cromwell.
Oh, yeah. Chamber of Commerce, President and CEO.
Yeah, and Project Rebound. And one of the things that I propose in Project Rebound is to put a team together to try to figure out how we can turn red tape into green tape.
It's a great idea.
So the good news is I think there's some conversation which was started by you between the chamber and the city to go through some of the issues with the restaurants and stuff like that.
So they're going to be the intermediary.
Well, there's conversations. I don't know
Okay.
if I don't. I'm going to help any way I can to push that rock uphill.
Another thing we wanted to talk about would be the conversation we had Friday with the Land Trust, which I thought was phenomenal. Tiger Fuel, Sarah Whitney, and the Land Trust. I get our common friend ask me routinely questions about what you guys are doing at the Land Trust. You know who I'm talking about?
We have so many common.
Matthew Gillikin.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, loves the Land Trust.
I had a great meeting yesterday with Michael Payne about the land.
Yeah?
trust.
How did that go?
Excellent.
Anything you can... he's a proponent. He's in favor.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, he's in favor of it. Yeah,
All of us are.
Well, yeah.
What did that mouth mean? Not all of us, Jerry?
Some people maybe don't understand the model. And we need to have a conversation about the model and stuff like that. It is not a cut and dry model. You need a little bit of education. Thank you for what you're doing because you're helping with that. But the best way I explain the land trust is just think about it as a condominium environment. Right. The land trust owns the land, you own the home, and it's no different than any other condo that you would buy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely brilliant. In fact, this comment's coming in saying, we love when you feature the Land Trust. That's from Chris Monk, who's watching on Goodman.
Cool.
And when you guys talk the Land Trust on the show, I mean, so do I. I think it's the way to keep the area affordable.
Well, we're teasing this a little bit, but we are working formally towards a relationship with Piedmont Housing to do a merger. So we're getting there one little step at a time.
Is that Q1 probably?
Q1, yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Q1,
Just because of the time lost on the holidays?
Well, we've gone through the letter of intents and the memorandum.
And then we get sunshine over here?
we will get Sunshine over here.
Okay, I like when he comes.
I love it when he
Sometimes
comes.
when Sunshine's here, that guy is so smart. Sometimes when he comes here and you and I get clicking in our routine, I feel like Sunshine looks at us and he's like,
Really?
These two again? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, every conversation I have with him, he says that,
like, right.
oh, there goes Smith
Yeah,
again.
here we go.
There we go. But he,
He's brilliant. Yeah.
I have a rule. I always try to put myself in a room with people that are way smarter than me.
Sunshine, is he executive director of Piedmont Housing?
I believe that's his title.
Yeah, Piedmont Housing executive director. Piedmont Housing, not Piedmont Housing
That's
Alliance.
exactly right. He corrects me
Piedmont
continuously.
Housing.
Piedmont Housing.
Piedmont Housing. We have to. I want to cover this
You went sideways.
so
on me,
you
bro.
can say that we covered this.
Check the box. So, back to wrap a bow around where we
Please.
started before we went sideways. It's important to use a trusted advisor, a realtor, when you're moving into particularly when you're moving into a new construction market, because they will do a search for you and say, okay, look, I get that you want to pay X, I get that you want to have all these bonies in it, but just understand you're at the top end of the market, and if you're cool with that, that's great. But if you're looking to pick up the phone and call Yonna and I 5 or 7 years from now, or another realtor or another trusted advisor to help sell it, just understand we may have a little bit of a struggle if we're at the top end of the market at that point. Next topic.
Yes.
It's already baked in. So what does that mean?
What is it?
I don't know. You tell me. What do I mean by that? It's already baked in.
And with the new construction topic? Tell me.
So the buyer broker fee
Yeah.
is already in the number.
Oh, yeah.
So if you walk in and don't use a realtor, you're paying for it anyway.
Right.
So what I usually talk to folks about, just for me, because I've got a unique circumstances because of my builder development
Right.
background,
Yeah.
the first thing I would end up saying to Mr. and Mrs. Miller that, I don't think we need a realtor. I said, whoa, I get it. And that's your right, of course. But you're already paying for it, A. And B, what happens if you can use me, I know a little bit about building.
Yeah.
Right? So when we get a little bit later in the list, one of the things that folks don't realize that they can do is you can get home inspections in new construction. And that's where we'll talk about that process. It's very different than a regular.
Well, I'd love to learn about that process.
Well, okay. So we'll jump around a little bit.
Home inspection with new construction.
Correct.
Just built home.
Yeah, so not just built. So what we're going to talk about here is there's two things you can get in new construction, and you have to ask for it.
Okay.
Right? So again, this is why you want to use a trusted advisor. You have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, they'll say, fine, no problem. So in the contract negotiations in the very beginning of it, and, actually my next item was negotiations, so I'll wrap home inspection and negotiations a little bit together, is, when you buy without a realtor involved in it, one of the greatest skills that we bring to the table, in my opinion, amongst many, is our negotiating skills.
Sure.
If you are the salesperson for X builder, you're negotiating. You're not negotiating for me. You're negotiating for the builder, right? Where I'm at the table, I'm negotiating for you, so you can get the best possible deal. So to go back to home inspection and Radon too, by the way. So what's happened is we just went through this whole process. We picked a design. The house hasn't been built yet, but we're going to bake into the contract. And later on, we're going to talk about that because new construction contracts differ from builder to builder. But what will happen is there'll be a list, a pre-approved list, which they all have to be licensed now by the state of Virginia anyway. So there's certain pre-approved list home inspectors. But what will happen is you'll get basically 2 home inspections. So contract gets done, foundation goes in the ground, you do all your picks, so forth and so on. And what it'll be is pre-drywall inspection. So the house will be in its studs, typically in its insulation. Some builders will do it before the insulation goes in. That's how I prefer it, right? So what'll happen is it's studded out, the HVAC, all the rough-ins are done, all the structural work is done, and then they will pick a day, and myself, the client, and the home inspector, and it's typically a rep from the builder, will spend an hour on the job site and go through it. And we'll create a actual punch list, an actual report, and then we submit it to the builder and say, look, these are the things that we found, right? Because sometimes it happens. The building inspector misses something, the job super misses something, right? It's a great backstop for it. It gets attached to the contract, right? Everybody agrees to the repairs on it, and then they'll demonstrate that the repairs are done, and then you will get a second home inspection at the very end of it. So in other words, everything is all done before you do your walkthrough with your final walkthrough with the builder before you close, your what I call my punch list walkthrough. The home inspector will go through and make sure everything is done and make sure there isn't anything new.
Vanda Fisher says, how often are you getting concessions or the builder crossing things off the inspection list that you provide them?
Oh, it will work. They'll do it. Once it's identified, once it's agreed to, they'll do it, without a doubt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No resistance about it being new?
Never had a resistance.
Interesting.
Never did. You know, because they want it done
They
right.
want to move it.
Well, no, they want it done right. You know, stuff happens, an extra set of eyes. They want it done right because at the end of the day, there's a 1-year warranty. That means they got to come back for something. So you might as well catch it now. Catch it before you get your drywall.
Do all new construction homes have the 1-year warranty?
It's a state law. So there's a 1-year warranty
On everything?
and then 5-year on the foundation. But that's a state law. Now,
Anything new construction?
correct. So I can't remember the chapter and verse, but there's 2 state laws. One is the whole house, and the other is the foundation for 5 years. But then each builder has its own specific warranty program. You can also buy a third-party warranty program, but they're a little expensive on new construction. And there's really no reason to do it because you get the 1 year.
Yeah.
What we usually tell folks to do is after the 1 year, right, you might want to look at getting into like American Home Shield
Sure.
or something like that.
Right, and that's a no-brainer. Yonna Smith says, make sure you ask for the radon guidelines. And you brought that up with new construction. That's from his beautiful 7/8.
That's exactly right. So thank you, Schatzi. So for those who know, Schatzi is
That's your nickname for
German for sweetheart. So,
Yes. I knew that.
You knew that. We spent too much time together.
Schatzi.
Schatzi. So the great thing is if you have this this is why you need a real estate agent. You have this conversation in the very beginning, and when you're going through the negotiations, go, hey, Mr. Builder, do you guys install a passive radon system? So in other words, in the beginning of it, they'll put basically it's a hole in the slab with a pipe that runs up through the roof,
yeah.
right? So that's a passive radon system, and what'll happen is 3 days or something like that before we actually close, the home inspector will set a radon test out in there and make sure everything is fine. So if it's over 4, so the EPA, and I don't want to get into the weeds in it, but they've set a number of 4, right? And if you're over that, then what they do is they just come back and put a fan in it, and it sucks the radon gas out. If it's good, you got a pipe in there, and if you go to sell, we just recently did this. Yonna and I are doing a resale in Spring Creek. House was built maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We did a radon test, and the radon was above 4. They had a passive radon thing in it. Slap in a
So that's like $600-700 with a radon.
If it has no prep work done for it, it's anywhere between $1,200 and $1,600, depending on the house and how they have to go through it. If you have the radon, if you have the passive already installed, it's about half, somewhere around.
How's Spring Creek doing?
Man.
We don't talk about Spring Creek that much on this show.
Well, we talk about Zion's Crossroads.
We talk about Zion's
So when you talk
Crossroads.
about Zion's Crossroads, you're talking about Spring Creek too.
Yeah.
I was funny. I was chatting with the radon guy when we were out there putting it in, and it blows my mind what the price point. And we'll do a show about that.
What do you mean? It blows your mind.
High? Yeah, it's like $400,000, $500,000, $600,000
Entry.
out there. Oh yeah.
You're getting
in a million
golf
years.
course, gated community.
Oh, yeah,
You're getting
sure.
amenities.
Well,
that pool is huge.
The buyer profile for there is Keith and Yonna retiring from Northeast Corridor or whatever, coming in there. There is some families in there for sure, but we'll dig into that. Maybe a Good Friday show, a next Tuesday show on the data on it. What I was getting at is 30 years plus I've been in this market space out there, and 20 years ago, if I would have told you, yeah, you're going to get $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes out there, new construction homes out there, I would have said no. But there's an example why you want a real estate agent, right? If you're building a new house over there, right? Because we do our homework. There's another 600 to 800 homes left to get built just in the existing subdivision.
Shotzi, Yonna, said, sorry, I'll call her Yonna. You call her Shotzi.
I think that's a little bit.
yeah, no, sorry, Yonna. Better 7/8.
I think you crossed the line there, brother.
Better 7/8. Great market, plenty of new construction.
Oh, yeah. Sure,
in Spring Creek,
and so again, if you go back into this where you're going to buy, so to talk about, we'll go back a little bit on it, and we priced this house right that we sold over there, and we sold it within a day or two.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, good for Yonna. She did all the hard work. I just went there and talked to a Radon guy.
She said 12 to 1400 for that Radon.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the go back to why you need a trusted advisor to analyze the project, right, the subdivision. So certain subdivisions, if you're on the front end of it, we talked about value, right? But also now when you get ready to sell your house, and a subdivision can take Spring Creek's been, 10, 15 years, right? And they have another 600 some odd lots to 800 lots to go yet. So if you're going to go sell your house, you've got to make sure that it's priced right, because you're going to be competing against new construction down the road. And why would you buy a used car when I can buy a brand new car at the same price point? So in this case, we priced it right. The buyer needed to move tomorrow or buy tomorrow. The house was vacant, so it just all came together nice and neat. So we wrapped, I think, negotiations. That was my next thing. As far as new construction contracts go, again, where you need a trusted advisor, a guide. We're not lawyers, right? By any stretch of the imagination. We're not professing to be. But we've worked enough with these where we can guide the client through this, because every new construction contract isn't exactly the same. So if you were to buy in our region an existing home, we would be using the Virginia Realtors contract. It's been vetted contract. It comes from the lawyers. Everybody's used to seeing it. Everybody can work with it. The terms and conditions are pretty well known. And new construction is a little bit different. Builder A may use the Blue Ridge Home Builders Association's contract. Builder B may use VR's, Virginia Realtors new construction contract, which is kind of the same, but a little different. And then there's other builders, national builders in particular, have their own contract. So you've got to walk through your client through that contract and make sure that they understand what they're about ready to sign. And if they don't, here's the name of Bill Tucker, right? Reach out to an attorney, reach out to Bill Tucker, reach out to Charlottesville Settlement, and have them help you guide through the legal questions that we can't answer for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Madman16 post on Instagram. Instagram, we have to go by their handles and not their names.
I like it.
I like it too. Madman16
It's kind of like what fighter pilots or something.
Title insurance for new construction?
Yes, more so.
Okay, that's a question that just came in.
Great question. More so. So you're going to have something that's called mechanics lien.
Explain that to the folks.
So what'll happen is, again, more so, and financing we're going to talk about next, because we're going to wrap this into a little bit about negotiating with new construction. But one of the financing issues is most of the bigger, larger builders, the national and regional builders, have working relationships with finance, with lenders,
right,
with title companies, right? With title company, I don't know how I got a phone call and I got my phone off. But with title companies on that end of it. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but in the title end of it is there's called lien waivers. So you're a drywall guy, right? And you come on my job site and it's called a mechanic's lien. And I don't pay you. You can put a mechanic's lien on the property, and it can convey and it can sell on that, and that lien can be attached to the property. So what title insurance does is before it closes, they're going to make sure all these items have been paid. And part of the way they do that is the builder, if I'm the builder and I give you a check, I'm going to make you sign what's called a waiver. So you've been paid, right? And so when you hire Bill Tucker and Charlottesville Settlement to go ahead and manage this transaction for you, they will make sure everything is paid. If one should get through, there is a ability for the mechanic to put a lien on the property. Does that make any sense?
That was a perfect description. This one also coming in. Is there a lot of new construction expected next year, Keith Smith? You don't like that question?
I love that question.
Yeah?
I just love the way you asked it.
Yeah? With my eyebrows?
With your eyebrows, I was like, whoa.
I'm trying to read this screen and this screen.
Yeah.
This adds another wrinkle to follow the Instagram cameras.
Well, you know my attention deficit syndrome.
Well, you're managing it well. I think it's because you're not looking at it. Is that why?
I'm not, and I'm purposely not looking at this.
Right.
Okay.
You're managing it well. But what I'm having to do is follow this and all these. No, I'm doing it all right. Did you see?
A little violin. Oh,
give me some cheese with that one. You give me some cheese with that one.
Oh.
Is there new construction coming down the pipe next year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is.
City in Albemarle?
Regionally. There's always projects in the pipeline. So the one I was just talking about that's been in the pipeline for 5 years is probably another year out, would be like 325 residential units in it on that. It's a whole mix of products in it. But these projects take time to go ahead and do that. And what you're seeing is these things, they tend to ebb and flow. Right, and they ebb and flow based on how the market's doing. They ebb and flow on how it's working through the particular system on it, and when they hit the market. I think the inventory is contracting.
Yeah,
The lot inventory is contracting. The regular real estate sales, the regular homes or the existing homes, is contracting. We're going to talk about some numbers on the back end of the show that you're starting to see the pendings drop off week over week.
Right. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So
he's saying there's a pinch in inventory.
There's beyond the pinch in inventory. And
shortage.
On my way in, I was talking to Scott Morris, one of our sponsors, to say, hey, so what do
He's watching.
What do you see? Interest rates going, because somebody's going to ask me that question, and he says there's going to be a little spike, potentially a little spike, and my brain went to, oh my God, 8 or 10%. He went, no, like 3 to 3.5, or some number like that, and I laughed because my brain operates when it was 18%. Right. So, but as long as as long as interest rates stay firm, the inventory is so low, it's just basic supply and demand, right? Employment is going up, right, a little bit?
Yeah.
Kind of stabilizing on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we talked about financing, right? We talked about negotiating. We talked about the contract. We talked about it's already baked in. We talked about the radon and home inspection. And I think the key thing a real estate agent or realtor brings to the table is our communication skills. Is that third party to communicate between the builder and the client. And I will tell you, every single one of our real estate transactions that we do, and particularly in new construction, there always comes a magic point in it where the buyer doesn't quite understand what's going on, right? Because the builder's brain is operating at builder's warp speed, right? And there's maybe some lack of communication going on between the builder and the buyer, and they're not exactly sure, well, where are we at in the process, and so forth and so on. And some builders, like Christopher Brimmett and Bramante Homes, use Co-Construct, which we had on there, which is a great tool to keep the buyer and the builder and the realtor in the loop on what's going on. But sometimes you say, hey, I got a phone call yesterday, 2 phone calls yesterday builds. Hey, I'm a little confused. What's going on with the next steps, right? So we spent a little bit of time on the phone and helped them understand what the next steps are going to be. So one of the things I think on top of the top, that's the reason I saved it for last, is our ability to communicate between the builder and the client and set expectations and move the project along so we can close on time and on budget.
Multiple comments coming in.
Sure.
One coming from Michael Guthrie, and then we're going to get to Instagram
Hey, Michael.
Live here. Comments coming in from Instagram Live. Michael Guthrie, I have heard buyers who close even as late as the spring of 2021, and interest rate should still have a 3 in front of it. You might talk about getting rate extensions when building a new home. Keith.
That is that's the reason he's called the man, the myth, the legend.
And the question on the Instagram Live is, do we expect rates to change much in 2021, which piggybacks on Michael Guthrie's comment?
So if you read it, we'll answer we'll talk about Michael's comment because it's a home run conversation to have, particularly when you're doing custom, right? The production guys, the production builders, you don't necessarily need to, I think, buy a rate extension because they're once they start, they're going to finish in a number of days. They're pretty methodical about that. It's not that custom isn't; it's just a different animal. But look, everything I read, one of the great things that I love about doing the show is I'm spending more time reading about prepping,
Yeah.
right? A couple, 3 hours a day, a show prepping. Everything I read this morning, everybody's predicting interest rates staying stable, whatever that is.
Yeah.
A half a point up, a half a point down. Nothing is going to shoot straight up on it. What Michael's talking about is a great point. So most people don't know, and Scott can chime in on it. Most people don't know you can buy points down, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you bring X amount of cash to closing or you can buy your interest rate down, or you can buy your interest rate to stabilize. So I think what Michael's talking about is, let's assume, so we've got a couple of custom homes going on. We know they're not going to close until mid-2021, maybe later than that. These are one-year bills. These are huge, big homes, custom homes on the end of it. And it takes about a year from the time it starts to close. And what Michael is saying is, well, when you lock in, right? So if I lock in today, you're either going to pay a lock-in rate to lock in that rate for 12 months. There's a fee attached to that. Or you can possibly buy it down. But what Michael is saying is 12 months from now, the interest rate may not be what it is. And if you're building something that's got a longer build on it, you might want to have a conversation with Scott Morris or your lender or whoever you're having who's doing the financing for you. Hey, can I lock in a rate? How much is that going to cost me?
What's that usually cost?
It's all over the map. I wouldn't, if I told you a number, I'd be lying to you.
Okay.
It's based on your loan, your circumstances. Scott may be able to chime in on that a little bit. I know he can, way better than I can.
Scott Morris, guys, one of the sponsors of the show.
But the important thing here is to know, and thank you for shouting out on this, Michael. The important thing is you can do that, right? You can lock in a rate. You can buy down a rate over time. Now, those are really important.
When the rates were fluctuating big time.
That's exactly
Now
right.
we're seeing that they're going to be stabilized.
Yeah, but what
so
Michael,
you may not need to do it.
Yeah, but what Michael's saying, and very rightly so, if you're, even if you're doing a 6-month build or a 4-month build, what is the interest rate's going to be 4 months from now? Now, there's a little trick on that. If you're going to buy a rate or lock in a rate, you want to make sure you have the conversation. Well, if it goes down,
right, you get the benefit.
Yeah, and you might not. It depends on the lender and the deal. Cool.
You've been dropping knowledge bombs today.
Oh, well,
you tried to get to this for 2 weeks.
For 2 bleeping weeks. So
it's an informative show.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I love it. I love it when we get information from the feed.
You want to talk numbers too.
I want to talk numbers, but I want to, particularly since Michael's watching, because he's been a great proponent of this, and I learned a lot from him. Renting versus owning and your net worth. So, Judah, if you wouldn't mind putting slide 1 on, please.
And he's giving us the thumbs up.
Cool. So I just want to take a couple
You want it on this screen?
Yeah, well, that would be great. That would help my attention deficit
Absolutely.
syndrome. Thank you. So what I want to talk a little bit about this is it started off with a conversation I had with a dear friend that just decided to stay renting when I was trying to suggest if there is a time to buy, now's the time to buy. If there's a time to sell, now's the time to sell. And you know, we get wrapped around the conversation about, you know, family wealth, generational wealth, you know, what is life going to be like? He's gone through some major life changes, and I said, you know, man, and ultimately ended up buying. Right, I was able to convince him to buy, and convince is a strong word. I made a compelling
argument,
compelling case. That you would do that. So if you go to slide number 2, Judah, please. Like that little image?
I do.
Isn't that a cool image?
Slide 2's on screen.
That's what happens at 2:30 in the morning with coffee.
I like it. You've been up since 2:30?
Yeah, it's been a busy.
Couldn't sleep?
Nah, I had to get ready for this, and I got a busy day after this, and just needed to get my head right.
Okay.
Plus, I needed to get a bike ride in. So, if you take this is just a helpful little chart, you know, going over since 2010 to 2019, and this isn't my numbers. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, this is from the Feds, Federal Reserve. So the net worth, the typical net worth of a family is on renting is somewhere ranging between the 5 and the 6,000. It's been pretty consistent. But if you own, your net worth has been going up steadily over these last several years, going from roughly, you know, somewhere between 200,000 and now roughly 250,000. What does that mean, right?
That means you're starting to save some money. You're worth more
Well, you know that.
for living in a home.
This is what you did.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way,
This is literally what I did.
I know. You know, who are you paying on the rent?
You're paying the landlord. You're paying the landlord.
The landlord has got that number going up.
Right.
They got their family wealth going up. So if you could do number 3, please, Judah, I'd appreciate that. So according to the Federal Reserve, your net worth is over 40% times. You got a 40% chance of making more net worth with owning than with renting. Now, certain folks, renting is a great thing. Thank you, Judah. Right? So that's just a great little chart to show, you know, how a net worth would work. I know everybody's a little bit differently, depends on the house and all that stuff, but it's just a great little image that this comes straight off the Federal Reserve's website when you're trying to explain to somebody about, hey, doesn't that left column look a lot better than that right column, right? You know, it's kind of like the latte factor.
Yeah.
You know,
this is the latte factor.
This is the latte factor. Right. This literally is the latte factor. Yeah. So, you know, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes on it. I know we're coming on the way back end of the show, but, you know, right now, if you want to make that happen, this is the time to do it. You know, the time to, you know, we did it when it was 18%.
Right.
But we still did that, though. Right?
Yeah.
But certain people, you know, they have to rent, and God love them for that. They make a decision. Our daughter who is in from Seattle.
She is?
Oh, yeah.
At your house now?
She's at what time is it? She's at our house now teaching. It's just amazing. Yesterday, I called into the show. Yvonne is in the bonus room teaching remotely in Seattle.
Stop.
5 years old.
Really?
Kindergarten.
That's awesome.
Right? I gave her kudos today. I said, man, you're so good at that. She goes, Daddy, I've been having years dealing with you. I was built ready for this. I was built for this.
She's teaching Seattle kindergartners from Lake Monticello. That's awesome.
Well, everything is remote now. So
sure.
Where you are.
Well, that's a benefit that she gets to see her parents during the school year. If
We
it
had
was
a-
in person, she wouldn't have been able to do that.
We had a wedding to go to. She had a wedding to go to on Saturday, and her husband couldn't make it, and I was her date.
Did you go?
Of course.
Was it fun?
It was a great time.
Yeah?
It was a 2-hour drive.
Where's
south.
the wedding?
It was down by Smith Mountain Lake.
Okay.
On the other side of Smith Mountain
Did you have a
Lake.
beverage?
Maybe. Let's say it was in Franklin County.
Okay.
So could you imagine what the beverage was?
Bourbon.
No.
Gin?
No.
Cold beer?
No.
What was it?
Starts with an M. What is Franklin County?
Franklin County, moonshine. Yeah? Is that what it was?
Could have, maybe.
I like moonshine.
It was really good, actually. It was apricot.
Yeah?
It was enjoyable.
Did you mix it with anything?
Just had a couple sips.
Okay.
You know, it's we were offered it, and it would be at least the way I was raised.
Yeah, you would be disrespectful
I'd be
not taking a sip.
not taking a sip on
Yeah,
that
you
stuff.
got it. If you're offered, you
It was
got to.
it was great. We had a 2-hour conversation down and a 2-hour conversation back, and I went on a date with my youngest daughter. I loved the heck out of it.
When is she moving? When's she going back?
Tomorrow,
Okay.
after she's going to teach, we're going to take it to the airport. She's going to fly back, and be ready to teach tomorrow morning. So we're excited about it. But yeah, to talk about that a little bit, and we teased it on the show. Oh, you're smiling.
Oh, Barbara's like, it's moonshine, Jerry. Good call, Barbara.
Yeah, well,
Barbara's had some moonshine. Good call, Barbara.
you know, a good moonshine. Anyway, we'll
I
stay.
love moonshine.
Oh yeah, we'll stay.
I love moonshine.
The
homemade bathtub shine. I love moonshine. You give me a little apple moonshine, and I'll drink it on the rocks. And then you can start mixing it with, cider. And next thing you know, you're not even drinking something.
well, if you're mixing it, then you're not really. To me, you have to sip it.
Oh, yeah. Yonna says the world surely has changed, hasn't it, Keith?
Yeah. So, and then what I was trying to wrap around that. So, I was talking to you on Zoom. Yonna was downstairs on a Zoom meeting, and Yvonne was in the bonus room
Teaching kids.
Teaching
In
kids
Seattle.
Seattle.
From Fluvanna.
From Fluvanna County, right? I called in live into the show. Yonna was doing a coaching class downstairs, and it was great.
You got your internet buttoned up at home.
Well, we're very fortunate. So we've got Comcast Business out there, so we're running around 200 up and 200 down. I have no idea what that means, but I was told that's what we're doing.
Barbara says, I know a little bit about Franklin County, a little bit about moonshine. I'm saying, Barbara, tell us more.
Well, we'll move on.
I know, wait, Barbara. I think she's got some mischievousness in her past.
But the reason I wanted to bring it up was, so the kids, right? My daughter and my son-in-law. My son-in-law is a doctor, right? He's in residency out in Seattle, and Yvonne's a teacher, and they're moving from a one-bedroom apartment to a two-bedroom apartment.
Nice.
Do you know why they're doing that?
Well, because you guys stay over there and come pester them. And why? Tell me why.
What did we just talk about? What Yvonne does?
She needs it for teaching. Yeah.
So now,
How much is that going to cost rent-wise?
I think. Hold on a second. I got to turn my volume down here. I think. I prefer not to say.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but
It goes up.
They're paying more.
Okay.
More rent than what they were, and they're making that move because where they're moving from is closer to the work, right? Closer to bus stops, close to everything, and they're moving a little further out of this. And it's still within the city, but they're just moving a little further down, another 2 or 3 bus stops or light rail stops away. But the purpose they're doing it is, again, for mom and dad not to sleep on the couch.
Right, I was going to say.
Yeah, but we're cool with that.
Yeah, you don't mind doing
No,
that.
absolutely not. It was a lot of fun. But she needs a space to do what she's doing, right? So Houston is my son-in-law's name, is working nights right now. And she is in the kitchen or in the open room space doing a teaching. So he's, in order for him to get up, come out of the bedroom, and maybe go to the throne.
Yeah, he's doing it in the midst of the kindergarten class.
That's exactly right.
Man, COVID.
Well,
Changing the value proposition of a home.
so we've been talking about this from a buyer perspective, right? And we just talked about, hey, you really, they can't buy out there because it's insane. I mean, it's $1 million just to walk in the door.
Right, starter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just to start a house is $1 million, $800 to $1 million to go ahead and do that. And as a residency, they don't make quite a lot
Sure.
of money. And,
Sure.
But at the end of the day, the renters are doing this too, and it was just like a light bulb went on when she was explaining to me why she's doing that, and I went, whoa. We talk about this
All the time on the show.
all the time, and I just never equated it to the rental market.
And I think it's only going to get, and maybe you disagree with this, I think it's only going to get, have more momentum behind it, because I think what's going to happen come 2021, and especially in the spring market, is we're going to have more confidence with folks and more folks looking to leave Northern Virginia and these big cities and come to Charlottesville.
Well, it's happening.
Yeah.
That's-
How's our bet looking?
Eh.
Less pendings.
Yeah, I'm a little. Yeah. Well, we can do that. If you can go to slide 4, if you don't mind, please. Yeah. Yeah. So if that was my only fear about it happening is that the pendings walk back a little bit, and week over week thank you, Judah, from 10.5 to 10.12, between that and 9.7 and 0.4, take a look at that pending number.
Pendings are going down.
That's week over week. Now, week over week's
Still a lot of pendings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to win.
Yeah. Are you past the halfway point,
I didn't total.
including the pendings?
I didn't total them up yet. I didn't want to ruin your day.
I mean, you're looking pretty good with the activity you had coming into the quarter.
But take a look at the active, though.
Yeah.
So the active is stabilizing. We need those active numbers to go way higher than 4 units, right? And so the key thing about this is I only looked at stuff that went under contract in those weeks, right? So if I actually take that out, some of the pendings might change, stuff that's been under contract prior to that. But this is just a 1 week over week snapshot, but it's trending down. It's not trending up on pendings. 46 units is a big jump.
I mean, it's a huge jump.
We'll see what next.
And the actives going. I mean, I guess the actives went up.
But only
They
4.
went up 4.
But
It's
not
not a ton.
But if
Not for
the
what we
ratio's not there.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So we'll look. I'm going to start trying to do this on a week-to-week thing on Tuesdays. Just kind of say, okay, we'll look at next week versus 10.5 and 10.12 and see if that pending and actives are still moving. This could be just a blip.
So how can we help the Yes team?
Yeah, well, you can give us a call and help us list and sell your house. We'd love to do that for it. Or if you're looking to buy, I mean, they're out there. It takes a little bit of skill, a little bit of work, and there's a ton of realtors that are watching that can do it just as well as Keith and Yonna Smith. But yeah, give us a call. We'll do what Zillow won't do. We'll have a conversation with you.
Yeah, we'll talk with you.
We'll actually have a conversation.
We'll tell you what to do.
Well, we
We'll
won't.
explain it.
We will not tell anybody.
Show.
We will guide.
Guide's better.
We will guide. We will guide folks through the process and educate folks through the process. But at the moment, we I think we're literally out of listings, so we could use a listing or two.
Yeah.
Folks.
We need some listings, guys. The Yes Team Realtors.
The market needs listings.
Now is a good time to sell your home. Now is a good time to sell your home. Not enough inventory on the market and buyers out there looking for homes, guys. The Yes Team Realtors. How about some love for Pearl certification?
Man, I just caught that in the corner of my eye, and our chemistry is working. We've just sold 2 homes.
Pearl certified?
That Pearl certified. One was platinum. Both of them may have been platinum.
That's big time.
That's big time.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, hands down,
That it helped.
we got 5% more. That number that they quote is real. It happens. We got 5%, and it went the appraisal process is where it shined, right? Because what we did is we provided the
To the appraiser?
yeah, we represented the seller in both cases on those projects, and we provided there's an addendum that goes along with it, and then the actual report. And they were super appreciative of it, and we went about 5% higher than I thought the appraisal was going. Not about, I know we went 5%. Yeah. So the buyer now has baked in equity.
That's fantastic. Pearl certification, guys. Also, we'll give some love to Roy Wheeler Realty Company and Charlottesville Settlement Company.
Yeah. So man, the myth, the legend. I mean,
He's watching.
he chimed in and like he's the third person in the show picked up on, buying up or locking in or buying down actually interest rates and locking in. So, Roy Wheeler Realty, give a call. Every one of the agents over there can do this new construction stuff because we spent the time to teach them.
Trusted name in the game, Roy Wheeler Realty Company. Today's show was good because I learned quite a bit on today's show.
I liked it. We stayed away from controversy.
Yeah.
Right.
We learned.
I felt much
stuck
better
to
about
the
that.
Notes. You're smiling.
I'm smiling.
Yeah.
We've got, we kind of stuck to the notes.
Yeah. You got your MarieBette.
I got my MarieBette and my lousy little heart that I drew on it.
So what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Man, I got meetings all day to 7, 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
How about you?
Same.
Who do you
All
got?
day.
Who do you got on at 12 o'clock? That 12:30.
Doing a TV commercial at lunch. Not doing a show.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Get
for
to
you.
direct a commercial today.
There you go.
It's fun. It's
Can you disclose on who or?
well when the commercial's done.
There you go.
Yeah. And let me make sure the client's okay with it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Sure.
but it's a respected name in banking.
Oh, cool.
We'll leave it at that.
Cool.
So no show today for us at 12:30. This guy, Keith Smith.
Well, if I'd known that, we would have went on a little longer.
His wonderful. We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It flies. I mean, I literally looked at it the first time and it was 11:13. It flies.
I can barely read my phone from here.
25.
Really? Wow.
And you got a meeting coming up.
I got a meeting at 12.
Yeah, Keith Smith, guys, and his wife, Yonna Smith, trusted advisors in the game. If you're looking for someone to help you get to the finish line, Keith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors are honest, hardworking, high character, integrity. They embody it all. Judah Wickhauer is the director. He's Keith Smith.
We didn't show the Batman.
Should we
outfit.
show the suit?
It's up to you.
All right, I'll show it. I'm going to go over there, Judah. Keith Smith's going to carry it right now. I'm going to get the
Oh, I hold it up. So for those who are watching, we're doing a Batman and Robin show on the 30th, and one of I think the bets that another bet we're gonna do is.
You have it right here, Judah? Can we show this somehow? If I come closer to the camera, will that help?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
That's gonna look good on you.
Look at what he's got me in. These are like tidy whities.
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy, it's terrifying. Did they see this?
And we're gonna walk down the downtown
He's
mall.
gonna wear his Batman. I'm gonna wear this, and Judah's gonna be Alfred, and we're gonna walk down the mall. And Liza the dog has a costume.
Did it come through?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
Look at it right there. And Judah's loving it. I can't believe I agreed to do this, but this is what you do for friends.
And I think we're walking down the downtown mall
We
together.
are. Well, Iris Luck, hello. Multiple people are saying, are you going to wear this more than one show?
Oh, come on now. Really? Are
Yeah.
they saying that?
Keith, are we going to do that?
Literally, that's what he asked me before we start the show. We'll see.
I'll wear it for the whole week if you want.
So we're gonna do We're gonna do the Tuesday show and the Friday show.
I mean, your call.
Well, all right. We'll have to negotiate this
Well,
after the
here's
show.
thing. We wear it the whole time. We wear it 2 days. But I got to do the
I feel
rest
like
of
I'm
my
get-
day in the Robin outfit, and you got to do the rest of your day in the Batman outfit. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, Land Trust. See, he loves it. All the meetings you have to take in your Batman outfit, you got to agree to that.
I've got a meeting.
I was going to say, let's cut the show right now. All right, you let me know if you want to go 2 days. I will do 2 days.
2 days on the show, I'll agree to. Walking around all day and that.
So would you walk around all day on Friday then?
No,
Friday's the day before
we've agreed.
that only the show?
No, I agreed. I will walk from the parking garage to get my cup of coffee
In the suit.
to the show.
Okay.
And then you were trying to talk me into going to the city hall, which I think that's not a good idea.
Take your meetings with Michael Payne and Lloyd in your Batman outfit.
They'll just give me what I want just so I don't have to do it
they'll
again.
Be like, oh my gosh, who is this psychopath that's meeting with us in a Batman?
Let's stick to what we've agreed to, Robin.
Yeah, we will do. Okay, Batman. Holy cow, Batman. Okay. He's Keith Smith. Proud to call him a friend. Judah Wickhauer
Ditto.
is the director.
Ditto.
Yeah. My name is Jerry Miller. This is Real Talk. This is. And I'm not just saying this because he's here, and if I say this, I know it's going to go to his head. Might be my favorite show we do, including mine.
Oh, no.
No, I just like the back and forth.
Yeah.
I like the car talk, but real estate over coffee.
Oh yeah, love it.
And it's just two dudes having fun. The Yes Team Realtors, tell your friends. If you're looking to buy or sell, now's the time. Interest rates are ridiculously low, lifetime low. And on top of that, if you're looking to sell, there's no inventory in the market. Homes are moving in today.
Yeah, like
Do it the right way. He's the guy.
It's weird, and maybe Michael will agree or disagree with me on it, but this is not a normal cyclical thing, right? Normally, it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. This is kind of both. Like because of the interest rates, the sellers are getting good dollar, top dollar,
and then the buyers got buying potential.
Their affordability index, so the seller can sell at a price point, and the buyer can come up with them because of the interest rates.
Right.
So when those interest rates going up, that their buying power is going to drop a little bit, and then that price might adjust a little bit on it to kind of get to that equilibrium. But at the moment, we're looking at an average of somewhere between 3 to 6% year-over-year increase, and the interest rates allowing the buyer to keep up with that. Does that make sense?
That made perfect sense. Good show today, my friend.
Hey, good luck on your shoot today.
Thank you. Real Talk, presented by the Yes Team Realtors. Shooter, you did a heck of a job.
He always does.
He does. He always does. We'll see you Friday is...
what's today?
You got anything planned for Friday?
Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Haven't figured it out yet.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Thank you for joining us, guys, on this edition of Real Talk. Great to be with you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. It's a work in progress. The Robin outfit is going to be hilarious.
Well, I think the Batman one's going to be hilarious, too.
Yeah. Them next to each other is going to be hilarious. And then us walking down the mall, people are going to be terrified.
You think?